Okay, so when it comes to the PlayStation Vita, this device right here was definitely way ahead of its time. Now, I do have a PlayStation Vita in 2022, and I absolutely love it. Granted, there are some things it can't do, especially in this day and age with the technology that's inside of this little device. But with that being said, stay tuned because I'm going to be giving my review of the PlayStation Vita in 2022. Let's get right into it. Now, I have had my PlayStation Vita for about a year and a half now. And with that being said, I still really love it. The main reason why I got this handheld in the first place was to do remote play off of my PlayStation 4, which worked like a charm. Like, it was fantastic and I absolutely loved it. But with the PS5, unfortunately, the PlayStation Vita does not work with remote play, which kind of sucks, but don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of ways and a lot of reasons that you could use this. You can definitely hack into your PlayStation Vita, especially in 2022, and you could download a massive amount of games. Now, I'm not just talking about PlayStation games. You can also download RetroArch, which is an app or emulator in this device where you can play Nintendo games, and it is just awesome. You could play Zelda on here, you could play Mario, old school Mario and Luigi on here. It's fantastic. Yes, you could also play old PlayStation Vita games and PSP games, and it's really cool because especially whenever I go on flights or something like that and I take the super small compact PlayStation Vita, I could play Ninja Gaiden, all the Ninja Gaidens I want. I could play whatever games that I hacked and downloaded for this device. Now, I am not going to go into the details on how to do that specifically. There are a whole bunch of different videos online that will teach you how to hack your PlayStation Vita. So if you are interested, I definitely recommend searching that up, and there's a whole bunch of tutorials that will show you how to get really great games on this device. Now, the PlayStation Vita doesn't come with too much memory to start out. However, what you can do, and what I did as well, is I actually purchased a micro SD card to PlayStation Vita converter. So basically, this is like the memory card of the PlayStation Vita, but you can install a micro SD card inside of it. I have mine that's 128. And when it comes to the PlayStation Vita, that is a lot of storage because games back then, max are probably like 2 gigs, 3 gigs, maybe even like, most of them are a lot less, but maximum 2 or 3 gigs. So 128 gigs of storage is going to be a lot. And if you want to get more, you definitely can, but I feel like 128 is the perfect size for me. Now, when it comes to size, that is also one of my favorite things about the PlayStation Vita. Yes, I do have the Nintendo Switch Lite, which is still pretty small, but the Vita is a lot smaller. Just putting them right next to each other, you could see that the Vita is a lot smaller. And when putting in your pocket, it doesn't feel as heavy or as clunky as this right here. It actually feels really slick, especially due to like the rounded edges. And even the sides are extremely thin. This is it to the Nintendo Switch Lite, and I absolutely love my Vita. Now, when it comes to the things I don't like about the PlayStation Vita, there's one that I can think of, and that's the fact that this back is a touchpad. And if you've had a PlayStation Vita before, or if you still have one, you realize that this is personally, I think that this doesn't work out. I do not like the way it feels. I don't like having to use this when I want to throw a grenade or something like that. So what I ended up doing, and there is a way around it, is I ended up purchasing this case right here off of eBay. I think it was like $10. And it comes with triggers. And whenever you hit a trigger, it actually touches the back of the trackpad. So it ends up acting just like a regular controller and adding triggers onto your PlayStation Vita. It doesn't make it too clunky. And I love the fact that it kind of adds these little, what are they? Just little resters for your hands, and it feels really good. It looks really slick, and it doesn't make it too bulky. So I highly recommend one of these if you are going to get the PlayStation Vita. Like I said, I only got it for like $10, so not too bad. Now, when it comes to the micro SD card converter, this one right here I think was about like $5. So everything for the Vita itself is like $100. You could get it even less. So after everything, it comes out to be like, I don't know, like $125, $150 for a really great emulator for old school games and retro games if you really do love those type of games. Also, if you still do have a PlayStation 4, you can definitely still remote play off of it, which is what I highly recommend. It's extremely fun, especially if you want to play current titles. Now, for old school titles, like I said, just jailbreak this baby and you are good to go. Now, in 2022, I absolutely love my PlayStation Vita and I highly recommend getting one. It isn't too much, and if you don't have a Nintendo Switch Lite and you really love old school games, this right here is going to change your life. Now, another thing I love when it comes to the hardware of this device is just the fact that it does come with a touchscreen, an OLED touchscreen, which you can use at any time. You don't have to use just the pad to navigate. You do have a headphone jack, and then you also have a camera, which is pretty funny because, you know, the PlayStation Vita has a camera. It came out a lot earlier than the Nintendo Switch did, and that doesn't even have a camera. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in some aspects, this does have more specs than some of the newer handhelds we are getting today. You also do have the trackpad in the back, which I said, if you don't like it, you could always change it out. And then both of the speakers are in the front. Granted, when it comes to the D-pad, it is not the best. I mean, it still works and feels good. And I love the Joy-Cons or joysticks on this device. But overall, I believe that the PlayStation Vita is very underrated still to this day. And if you don't have one, consider getting one. If you like old school games or if you still have a PS4 and want to play it on the go, I highly recommend the Vita. It does come with Wi-Fi too, or you can use Wi-Fi to connect, but it's great. Now, when it comes to the PlayStation Vita, I said it before and I will say it again, this device was way ahead of its time. And I still think it's pretty relevant in 2022 because of everything that it could do. If you have a PlayStation 4, you could definitely remote play off of this device. If you love old school games like old Nintendo games, even like Uncharted or Grand Theft Auto, you could play off of this device, no problem. And it's a really good price whenever you purchase it. Super small, super easy on the go. I love my Vita. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think about the PlayStation Vita. If you have one, or if you're gonna get one, or if you're just gonna pick it up again, let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Now, I do have a PlayStation Vita in 2022, and I absolutely love it. So stay tuned. All right, let's cut that. Let's cut all of that. That's gone.